You're on a motorway. A lorry has stopped in the right-hand lane. What should you do when you see this sign on the lorry? C. Pass the lorry on the left. Sometimes work is carried out on the motorway without closing the lanes. When this happens, signs are mounted on the back of lorries to warn other road users of the roadworks ahead. You're about to start a journey in freezing weather. What part of your vehicle should you clear of ice and snow? D. The windows. Driving in bad weather increases your risk of having a collision. If you absolutely have to travel, clear your lights, mirrors, number plates and windows of any snow or ice, so that you can see and be seen. You're driving in fog. Why should you keep well back from the vehicle in front? B. In case it stops suddenly. If you're following another road user in fog, stay well back. The driver in front won't be able to see hazards until they're close and might need to brake suddenly. Also, the road surface is likely to be wet and could be slippery. When should you use the left-hand lane of a motorway? A. When the road ahead is clear. You should drive in the left-hand lane whenever possible. Only use the other lanes for overtaking or when directed to do so by signals. Using other lanes when the left-hand lane is empty can frustrate drivers behind you. You're driving a vehicle that has anti-lock brakes. How should you apply the foot brake when you need to stop in an emergency? A. Rapidly and firmly. You may have to stop in an emergency due to a misjudgment by another driver or a hazard arising suddenly, such as a child running out into the road. If your vehicle has anti-lock brakes, you should apply the brakes immediately and keep them firmly applied until you stop. You're approaching a junction where the traffic lights aren't working. What should you do when a police officer gives this signal? D. Stop at the stop line. When a police officer or traffic warden is directing traffic, you must obey them. They'll use the arm signals shown in the highway code. Learn what these signals mean and obey them. Why should you check for motorcyclists just before turning right into a side road? D. They may be overtaking on your right. Never attempt to change direction to the right without first checking your right-hand mirror and blind spot. A motorcyclist might not have seen your signal and could be hidden by other traffic. This observation should become a matter of routine. Which is the most vulnerable road user? C. Motorcyclist. Pedestrians and riders on two wheels can be harder to see than other road users. Make sure you look for them, especially at junctions. Effective observation, coupled with appropriate action, can save lives. You're approaching a roundabout. What should you do if there are horses being ridden in front of you? B. Give them plenty of room. Horse riders often keep to the outside of the roundabout even if they're turning right. Give them plenty of room and remember that they may have to cross lanes of traffic. You're following a lorry on a wet road. What should you do when spray makes it difficult to see the road ahead? A. Drop back until you can see better. Large vehicles can throw up a lot of spray when it's wet. This makes it difficult for drivers behind to see the road ahead. You'll be able to see more by dropping back further, out of the spray. This will also increase your separation distance, giving you more room to stop if you have to. When may you wait in a box junction? C. When oncoming traffic prevents you turning right. The purpose of a box junction is to keep the junction clear by preventing vehicles from stopping in the path of crossing traffic. You mustn't enter a box junction unless your exit is clear. However, you may enter the box and wait if you want to turn right, and are only prevented from doing so by oncoming traffic. What shape are traffic signs giving orders? D. Road signs in the shape of a circle give orders. Those with a red circle are mostly prohibitive. The stop sign is octagonal to give it greater prominence. Signs giving orders must always be obeyed. Why should you switch off your rear fog lights when the fog has cleared? B. To prevent dazzling drivers behind. Don't forget to switch off your fog lights when the weather improves. You could be prosecuted for driving with them on in good visibility. The high intensity of rear fog lights can dazzle drivers behind and make your brake lights difficult to notice. What does this sign indicate? A. A diversion route. When a diversion route has been put in place, drivers are advised to follow a symbol, which may be a black triangle, square, circle, or diamond shape on a yellow background. What should you expect if you see this sign ahead? A. The road will bend sharply to the left. This sign indicates that the road will bend sharply to the left. Slow down in plenty of time and select the correct gear before you start to turn. Braking hard and late, while also sharply changing direction, is likely to cause a skid. What should you do as you approach this cyclist? C. Slow down and allow the cyclist to turn. Keep well back and give the cyclist time and room to turn safely. Don't intimidate them by getting too close or trying to squeeze past. What should you do if you want to turn left at a junction where pedestrians have started to cross? A. Give way to them. When you're turning into a side road, pedestrians who are crossing have priority. You should wait to allow them to finish crossing safely. Be patient if they're slow or unsteady. Don't try to rush them by sounding your horn, flashing your lights, revving your engine, or giving any other inappropriate signal. Which sign means there will be two-way traffic crossing your route ahead? B. This sign is found in or at the end of a one-way system. It warns you that traffic will be crossing your path from both directions. Why have red routes been introduced in major cities? B. To help the traffic flow. Inconsiderate parking can obstruct the flow of traffic and so make traffic congestion worse. Red routes are designed to prevent this by enforcing strict parking restrictions. Driving slowly in traffic increases fuel consumption and causes a buildup of exhaust fumes. Which vehicle should you allow extra room as you overtake them? A. Bicycle. Don't pass cyclists too closely, as they may need to veer around a pothole, drain, or other hazard. Be buffeted by side wind. Be made unsteady by your vehicle. Always leave as much room as you would for a car, and don't cut in front of them. You're following a long vehicle as it approaches a crossroads. What should you do if it signals left but moves out to the right? D. Stay well back and give it room. A long vehicle may need to swing out in the opposite direction as it approaches a turn, to allow the rear wheels to clear the curb. Don't try to filter through if you see a gap. As the lorry turns, the gap will close. What do these motorway signs mean? C. They're countdown markers to the next exit. The exit from a motorway is indicated by countdown markers. These are positioned 90 meters, 100 yards, apart, the first being 270 meters, 300 yards, from the start of the slip road. Move into the left-hand lane well before you reach the start of the slip road. You're waiting at a pelican crossing. What does it mean when the red light changes to flashing amber? B. Give way to pedestrians on the crossing. This light allows pedestrians already on the crossing to get to the other side in their own time, without being rushed. Don't rev your engine or start to move off while they're still crossing. What does this sign mean? B. T-junction. This type of sign warns you of hazards ahead. Make sure you look at each sign and road marking that you pass, so that you don't miss any vital instructions or information. This sign shows there's a T-junction with priority over vehicles from the right. What should you do when you're approaching this crossing? B. Prepare to slow down and stop. Be courteous and prepare to stop. Don't wave people across, because this could be dangerous if another vehicle is approaching the crossing. Why is it more difficult to overtake a large vehicle than a car? D. It will take longer to overtake a large vehicle. Depending on relative speed, it will usually take you longer to pass a lorry than other vehicles. Hazards to watch for include oncoming traffic, junctions ahead, bends or dips that could restrict your view, and signs or road markings that prohibit overtaking. Make sure you can see that it's safe to complete the maneuver before you start to overtake. You're approaching traffic lights and the red light is showing. What signal will show next? D. Red and amber. If you know which light is going to show next, you can plan your approach accordingly. This can help prevent excessive braking or hesitation at the junction. There's been a collision. How can you help a driver who's suffering from shock? D. Reassure them confidently. A casualty suffering from shock may have injuries that aren't immediately obvious. Call the emergency services, then stay with the person in shock, offering reassurance until the experts arrive. What should you do when you're using a contraflow system? A. Choose an appropriate lane in good time. In a contraflow system, you'll be traveling close to oncoming traffic and sometimes in narrow lanes. You should get into the correct lane in good time, obey any temporary speed limit signs, and keep a safe separation distance from the vehicle ahead. What should you do when dealing with this hazard? D. Use a low gear and drive slowly. In normal conditions, a ford can be crossed quite safely by driving through it slowly. The water may affect your brakes, so when you're clear of the ford, test them before you resume normal driving.